Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to me sitting in my backyard. um, these are by far my favorite types of videos to do. I don't do them that much, but I definitely enjoy them the most because I feel like they have a little bit more purpose to them. I feel these videos have, um, more of a purpose than gaming videos and things like that. If you guys didn't know me, I just love talking to people. I love talking. Um, and I love sharing ideas and all that kind of stuff. And it's been fun on my streams on Twitch where I can talk live to people and respond and almost have a conversation, compared to on YouTube where I post videos where it's kind of difficult to have that sort of conversation, you know what I mean? Um, but what are we talking about today? As you guys could tell from the title and the thumbnail, we're going to talk about being offended. This is something that I struggle with a lot, and honestly something that I believe the nation struggles with a lot. Seems like we are all just in a very offensive place, or a very offendable place, where we are all kind of on edge, and just waiting to be offended. And I've talked about this in other videos to a certain extent where I've talked about anger, and things like that. But today I want to talk about it from the perspective of just not being offended, like growing in yourself, and not taking things too serious when a lot of times they aren't. Like, it's very easy for us to translate something that somebody says as negative. Like, one thing that I've run into is whenever I'm playing games, if there's a dark-skinned character, and I call them black because that's what they are, it's a description, a lot of people will say, oh, that's racist, but it's not racist. It's not coming from me in a racist sense. It's the same as if I were to say, oh, there's a white person. Like, those are descriptors of our skin. It's not me negatively belittling them or anything like that, but so many people just get offended by those things because they're like always just uptight and just ready to be offended. But this book that I was reading called Unoffendable, I've read it 1.5 times. I didn't finish it around the second time, but I read it a whole time through it first. And it's really, really good. And I've gone through some quotes in the past on these videos, but these are some new ones that you guys haven't heard. And I think that this would be something really good for all of us to apply. And I want y'all to know this, that everything I'm saying to you, I'm also saying to myself. Because I'm the type of person that can be defensive. I'm the type of person that can be offendable. And so going through this and talking to you guys about it also helps me. Just know that I'm in this same boat with you guys as we talk about this. So this one quote says, "Quit trying to parent the whole world." I think that's so good. Whether you're young or you're old, quit trying to parent the whole world. I struggle with that a lot, especially in like streams and videos. If I see mean comments, I try to parent them when really I just need to ignore them, or encourage them to be better people and more positive, instead of trying to parent them. You know, it goes on to say, quit offering advice when exactly 0 people asked for it. I think that's a good one. You'll see that in relationships a lot, like me and my fiance. And you'll just find that in relationships with friends, whatever. Like, a lot of times it should come down to being like, hey, do you want to know how I feel about that? Or instead of just jumping in and being like, well, here's what I think. Like, that's what you see on Twitter and all this kind of stuff. It's like nobody asked for your input. And a lot of times that's just us being offended and just trying to get our feelings on things out there, which is good, but maybe not on the platform necessarily that we do it on sometimes. And it says, quit being shocked when people don't share your morality. So I hope that that's one thing that you guys always recognize with me, is that I'm never going to force you to have my beliefs. I'm a Christian, you guys know that. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he came down and died on a cross to save me and to save mankind if we put our hope in him. But I would never force that on you guys. I hang out with all types of people. I'm friends with all types of people, who I am just as broken as, whether or not they believe in Jesus or I do. So I think that's a good one, to quit being shocked when people don't share your same morality. Like, We all don't believe the same thing. Maybe one day we'll all believe the same thing, but right now a lot of us don't. And so I think it's important for us to like stop being shocked if somebody doesn't agree with something that we say, you know? Like, I'm not going to be shocked if you guys don't believe in the things that I believe. Do I hope that you could one day so that you could experience the joy that I do? Yes. But am I shocked if you don't? No. And so whatever you believe in, I would hope that as you pursue people and go through life, that you're not shocked or offended by the fact that people don't believe what you believe in. Then it says, quit serving as judge and jury in your own mind of that person who just cut you off in traffic. That's something I really struggle with, is driving. Like, I say this so much. I say this so much when I'm driving. I'm like, that person shouldn't have their license. Or, oh my gosh, they're being so dangerous by not using their blinker or by driving this slow. And like, okay, deal with it, Molt, you know? Like, wait 15 seconds, get around them. If they don't deserve their license, then hopefully a police officer will pull them over and take their license away. But I'm not the judge or jury or the person to decide whether or not they should be driving on the road. I just need to get around them and continue on with my business. That's really all that there is to that. I need coffee, okay? I need coffee. I'm sorry, guys. And from there, it goes on to say, quit thinking you need to discern. This is a big one. Quit thinking you need to discern what others' motives are, and quit rehearsing in your mind what that other person did to you. That's huge. I think it's so easy for us to be like, oh, they meant this. They said this because they meant this. And yeah, a lot of times you can go along those lines of like, oh, well, what you said was hurtful to me, and if the other person says, well, oh, I'm sorry that offended you, I don't think that's the right response. It should be like, oh, okay, I can understand how what I said came across wrong, but here's what I meant. I apologize. I'll try and reword it differently later. But I think that it is important for us to stop writing the narrative to what people are saying. Like, if I say one thing, like what I said earlier, by saying, oh, like that black guy, like if Nick and I are running up a hill and I try to acknowledge like who's where, I'll be like, all right, the dude in the yellow shirt is over on the left, the black dude's up on the right. Like, it's not, like, it's easy for some people to just write a narrative to that being like, oh, Molt's a racist, like, because he described that person's skin color, but I'm not. And it's so easy for us to do that, to, depending on where our mind is at, is to write a narrative. And I would say to kind of step back from that and be like, okay, I feel like I know Molt pretty well. I watch his videos. I don't think he meant anything negative by that. I don't think that he's a racist. So the next thing says, and quit rehearsing in your mind what that other person did to you. I think it's so easy for us, I know that I've been someone that has struggled with this, it's so easy for us to just look back at what people did and rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it and be like, oh, they did this, man, ooh, what, man, if I see them, like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, you rehearse what they did, or you just, like, rehearse how you're going to respond to them when you see it. It's like, all right, when I see them, it's going to go down like this. And it's just something that is not a good thing for us. It's not a good thing for our minds or our bodies or like our stress level or anything like that. Like, rehearsing those types of things is, I think it just overall has more of a negative impact on us. And what I just said there about rehearsing kind of goes into this next quote that I love and that is something I definitely need to work on. It says, we are capable of imagining threats and staying in a kind of constant low-grade fight or flight mode. We're capable of feeling threatened all the time by things that haven't even happened and may never happen. That's huge. Like, that's kind of where the basis of anxiety is. And I'm somebody that struggles with anxiety, where you kind of write a narrative for your day, and you're like, oh gosh, I feel like this is gonna happen. I feel like this person's gonna say this to me. I feel like this is gonna, and you just get overwhelmed and you just get tied up, and then none of it ever happens. But your body and your mind took the effects as if it did happen, but it didn't, because our minds just do that. And so for me, like, one thing I need to work on when I'm streaming is if I lose or make a dumb play, my mind mentally automatically goes to, okay, great, there's going to be some trolls that are going to say some stupid stuff, that are going to be negative, whatever. And whether it happens or not, my mind is already in that place of defensiveness, you know? And like, who cares if you lose at a game, or who cares if you lose a sporting event? Who cares if you get like a bad grade on something? Like, if you're putting time into it, and something still happens, like, we just need to be able to get to the point where we don't worry about what other people say about us. And especially if it's not like uplifting or beneficial, like, what does that matter? Literally, like, what does it matter if a troll tells me that I'm trash at a game? Like, it doesn't matter. Literally, who cares? Like, who cares? And so I would say try and implement that into y'all's lives as well, when it comes to whatever it may be. Kids at school making fun of you, or coworkers who are just jerks. Like, literally, who cares? Like, the effects of how they're acting just tear them down. I know it because I've been there before. If you've ever been somebody that's been mean to someone, it's weird. There's like a sensation in it that is enjoyable, but at the same time, you just feel like overwhelmed and weighted, and very like lonely. And so I know that a lot of times these kids that are trolls, and this isn't me being mean. This is me just like kind of trying to understand where they're coming from and why they're acting like that. I imagine that a lot of them don't really have too many good friends, and they're just trying to seek out attention. They're just grasping for attention any way that they know possible. And in their everyday life, being a positive person isn't bringing them what they want. And so they're like, all right, well, like, I just want attention. They're like grasping for attention, and so they have to be negative in order to just get a response, just to be recognized, just to feel human. A lot of them may be having trouble at home. Maybe their parents aren't being nice to them or acknowledging them, and that sucks. Like, your parents are supposed to be on your team, and when they're not, I totally understand how easy it is for people to react negatively. And it's like, okay, well, if I do something nice around the house and my parents don't respond to it, like, why am I going to keep doing that? But if I get mad or I misbehave, at least they say my name, at least they recognize me. And it hurts me that is like what happens a lot of times. I'm not saying that's the case for all of them, but that's just kind of my view on it, because like, the saying is hurt people, and for trolls and people like that, I can only imagine how hurt they are and how lonely they are in life, and it really burdens me. And so I just have to get to the point where, in the moment, I can understand, like, okay, that's a broken person. That's somebody who probably just needs a hug, honestly. And so that's just something like that I can struggle with, is where I'm capable of, like it says, we're capable of feeling threatened all the time by things that haven't even happened yet. And so that's something that I need to work on. And again, I would encourage you guys as well, just to kind of work through your mind in that and be less offendable and less like on edge all the time about things that may never even happen, you know? His last one is really big for me as well. It says, forfeiting our right to anger makes us deny ourselves, and makes us others-centered. When we start living this way, it changes everything. Have you ever done something nice for somebody? Like, genuinely nice. Like, you thought about something, you like planned it, you did something nice, and whether or not they responded well, it felt good, right? Like, it was like, oh, like, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed putting somebody else before myself. I enjoyed being others centered. And that's what this is saying. Like, forfeiting our right to offense and anger is not saying that those things are okay. Is not, like, when you don't get offended, guys, it doesn't mean that you agree with the thing that you would normally be offended by. So somebody says something, if I don't get offended by it, it doesn't mean that I agree with it. It just means that it's not worth my time. Like, it's not worth me getting offended over. I'm gonna just continue being myself, loving people, not being naive to what's going on in the world, but also not just joining in on negativity and offense just to be a part of something, because I don't think that that's good either. So overall, guys, this video is just one that I've honestly wanted to make this for a while, talking about offense and are you offended right now, like that type of thing, like, and hopefully us, everyone that's watching this, being able to get to a point where we're less offended, where our response to things is love and not hate, where our response to things is not offense but acceptance. And again, that acceptance not being agreeance with something, but accepting and understanding that somebody might disagree, that somebody might have different morals, and you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree with what somebody says to love them. You don't have to agree with somebody's actions to still show them love. And honestly, through that love, a lot of times, change can happen in that person's life. Change can happen in that person's life for sure. Like the way that I respond to a troll genuinely can change them and make them not be a negative person anymore. And so I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this today. I love you guys. These are probably one of my most requested videos, and that brings so much joy to my heart, knowing that you guys like me sitting out here on my porch with the birds and the other noise in the background and just talking to y'all. I love you guys, whether I've met you or not. I pray for you guys daily, and I'm so thankful for everything that you guys have allowed me to have in my life. And I want you to know that I value this platform very much, and I don't take it lightly. And my mistakes, whether large or small, whenever I have them on this platform or on Twitch, if I get upset, they weigh very heavy on my heart, and I'm very convicted by them. And so I want you guys to know that everything that I tell y'all, I'm trying to apply to my life as well, to grow in who I am as a human being. And hopefully one day all of us can just be in a better mental place, where we're positive, less offendable, and we just love people well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you on the next one, okay?